Nope. F wasn't about supporting American atrocities. You need to be more into the idea. I need to believe you want to win the war. I need to believe you want to own people. Unconvinced by your performance. Goodbye.
Step aside, boy. Let me show you how it's done. Look, I'm gonna tell you what happened and how I delivered the most out-of-pocket Dave Chappelle skit, South-supporting speech. A speech that had my N-word pass revoked and still working religiously to this day to get back. I'm doing my time, it's a nickel and dime, and I'm trying to get off for good behavior. I did it, yeah, but it was to pass a class. Not gonna lie, saying that out loud does not make this sound much better at all. But it was for English class, my worst subject. And that's saying something. My grades across the board were already down horrendous. I'm like DJ Khaled trying to play basketball. I'm just built for something different, which is the kindest way of saying I'm actually f***ing stupid and unmotivated. Not a single teacher could answer this question. Why is this important? My least favorite thing in the entire world is doing things for no reason. It's honestly just a big waste of time and effort. So if you can't give me a reason to care, then why would I? Which is part of the reason why when teachers try to call on me in class to do literally anything, they're already 20 minutes too late. Because I'm so deep in sleep, it's nearly impossible to bring me back. Nobody can get through, the lights are off, the curtains are shut, nobody's home. And that went double for English. All those books, I just did not care. But at the time we were reading Uncle Tom's Cabin, which like, that alone should probably tell you where the story is about to go. Damn, like, do I even make this? Fuck it, let's get it. We're running through the book and I'm trying to retain as much as I can within the first 10 minutes because after that it's either lights out or procrastination takes the wheel. And when it starts, it doesn't stop. I, not gonna lie, have a focus problem. Like, let me watch the movie. Let me test on that. I can't listen to basically an ebook spoken by a kid that can barely read himself. I also couldn't read, but I could at least pronounce the words. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention that I am the only black kid in this school. You know how much black verbiage and accents went into that book? There is nothing like listening to a bunch of white kids attempt to pronounce words correctly that are absolutely drowned in 1800s African. Like, no shit against them, they're dealing with the dialect they were dealt, but it doesn't make it any less funny. They'd be like, "Hi, what's a foot now, young un? Why you don't know? I suppose that Lizzie's cut stick." Cut stick? What's cut stick? It means she's ran away. Ah, okay. And cleared out with her young un. "You teach your granny?" said Sam, with infinite contempt. "No, did a heap sight sooner than you did. This so, this, Manta ain't so green now. Hey! Could you imagine? They would always get tripped up at the word and it'd be so funny. It got to the point in which they traded the word out for mumbles and coughs, like, "I'm sensible of dat are, but a poor, like me." It was like watching a really, really bad dubbed anime. It was hilarious, but eventually kind of boring. Like, it's still a book. I can only be engaged for a certain amount of time. But anyways, we'd read a few chapters a day, regardless on if we finish it in class or not. And I'm just tanking each quiz back to back. And I was struggling to figure out why, other than the obvious lack of engagement on my end. But I'd read the Spark Notes. I at least knew what was going on. And I should, through that brief study and the 10 minutes of info I got, before I, let procrastination take the wheel, I should just be sliding my grade around a C. And I was okay with that. But I remember before we started the book, Mrs. J said that if we tried to use Spark Notes, we will fail. Because Mrs. J changed any and all questions that could be found in Spark Notes. We will fail if we don't focus and read the book. And I thought she was bluffing. No regular person on a teacher's wage is gonna scrub through and rewrite questions just to make sure their students work hard for the grade. Right? Little did I know she was dead serious. I'm dealing with the LeBron James of English teachers. She's a walking W, she's elite. Just straight bodying me in my inability to focus. Like, you don't get paid enough. Why do you care? It's sending me straight to an F. I'm on the edge of being held back right now. We're at the end of the book, final few chapters, we quizzed on it, F. Officially failing the class. She brought me to the side to figure out what to do, and she explained to me what would happen if I didn't change. If I tank this test, I might not be able to recover, but I can't just focus. It's not a light switch I can turn on and off. I gotta be invested in something if I'm gonna be able to succeed or not. To this day, there's only been two things that have been capable of holding my attention for a long period of time, and that's basketball and this. Storytelling and animation. It's fun. I like it. Subscribe so I can do this more often. But I can't even lock in to do what I have to play basketball. I was a varsity starter, by the way, and basketball season was just about to start. How am I gonna look sitting on the bench unhurt because I can't pass this class because this lady's working overtime? The next day rolled around and I'm actively depressed. Miss J is about to tell us about this test, and she decided it's not gonna be like the rest. I'm just rhyming, I'm sorry. She decided to switch things up. I don't know if she did this every year or if this is just something new that she was trying, but she decided there will be no test. The room goes crazy. We're all hyped. We were all like, thank God. Because I wasn't the only person in the class who wasn't about to be playing sports this season. When I tell you this class is tough, I mean it's tough. This teacher was not playing. But then she hits us with a different idea. She wants us to create a presentation. And not just any presentation. Half the class is going to be presenting from the perspective of a person from the north, and the other half is going to present as a person from the south. An owner and seller of people. In hindsight, this was a horrible idea. I ain't gonna lie to you. We are 15 and 16-year-olds. This is not a good idea. This is way too uncomfortable. And that was made very evident by their reaction. I need it. Give it to me. I need it. I don't want to present for the South. I need it. Choose my side, please. My grandfather was an abolitionist.
Yeah, and mine was too. I hope.
The whole room turned into a lottery. Both sides of the class wanted to represent the North because nobody wants to get stuck with the South. Nobody wants to be perceived as, one, siding with losers. The fact that people still support this to this day is honestly embarrassing. From the rest of the world to you, your team lost. Get over it, please. And two, the ops. Die-hard sports fans aren't going to go over to the rival team, support their players, openly express their bias towards said team, and then take off their jersey and feel good about it. And that's just for sports teams. It really is uncomfortable to be like, I want this horrible thing that America did 200 years ago. And I'm gonna stand here with a smile on my face so I can get a grade. We're 15 and 16-year-olds. We're not gonna take this serious. This is not a fun assignment, but somebody's gotta take the hit. And since I'm on the right side, there's no way I'm catching the case. It's basically a birthright. It's gonna be raps for the people on the left. It's just a matter of time.
I want it. Give it to me. Give it to my side. I'll take it. Give the South Project to me.
I feel like I need to introduce you to the homie AP because he will be in a lot of these videos. He's a Russian-Ukrainian guy who got adopted by his family alongside his little brother when they were young. Fantastic family, love the peas. Fast forward to sophomore year when I started this new school, super small. These people grew up with one another. It's like they're on their own little island and I'm coming over to attempt to integrate with the social ability of a fucking snow leopard. Everybody's got their group and it's hard to break in as the new kid. And I'm not exactly the break-in type, even though I wanted to be. So I needed somebody to take me out of my bubble because I sure as hell ain't gonna step out. Show people who I am and get even further rejected? Not for me. Like, I still don't tell people in real life that I animate. I'm not going out like that. It can't be me and the school shooter kid, outcasted from society. No shot.
Hey, my rifle's in the car from this weekend. I went shooting and forgot it was in there. I'd love to show you sometime. It's really cool.
Actual conversation I had, actual shit in my pants.
But then,
here comes AP. And slowly through him, I was able to make friends that I still talk to this day. But, like all good friends, you gotta fuck with each other, at least a little bit on some level, like. And yes, there's a line between fun and jokes and too far. But AP liked to take that line and suplex it into the floor, breaking it into a million pieces. So when an opportunity like this just delivers itself in front of him, he's gotta take it.
I want it. Give the South Project to me.
All right, the left will be the north, and the right will be the south.
You guys can do that? I'm gonna talk to the teacher the South way. That's okay.
You got me. Can't lie, you got me good. But bro, I'll play, and I'll win. At this point, it's not even about the grade. It's 1000% about the grade. I'm just being dramatic. But it's also about how far can I take this bit. Am I gonna fold and look like a fool? Or am I just gonna see it through? Mrs. J talked with me after class and she was like, we can just adjust it so you can present on the north side. It's like, you know what? Let's do that right now. Nah, it's cool. I got it.
You sure?
Yeah. You serious? No worries. Like, I got this.
Really?
Yep. I'll see you Friday, Mrs. J. Look, I know this is a part that's kind of like, questionable. Yes, I had the option to switch, but I knew what that required. An enormous amount of work I didn't want to spend on a book I'm disinterested in. I got other things going on and I don't have the mental capacity to deal with it. But hear me out, okay? I do it and I make it funny.
Like, look at my habits up until this point. I've tried every way to do the minimum amount of work to achieve my goals. And I am currently sitting at an F. I just want to play basketball. That is the only thing that matters to me. What's going to allow me to play basketball? A passing grade. How are we going to get a passing grade? By doing the South presentation. Because 1, I simply didn't pay enough attention to do the North presentation good enough to raise my grade. 2, I'm already terrible at presenting. If I was 80 years old hopping on a stage, I would literally have a heart attack. But I knew I could half-ass, quarter-ass this South presentation and come out with 100. Because if she didn't, that's low-key questionable on her end, I'm not gonna lie. Like, she isn't gonna be like, nope, F. Wasn't about supporting American atrocities. You need to be more into the idea. I need to believe you want to win the war. I need to believe you want to own people. Unconvinced by your performance. Goodbye.
Step aside, boy. Let me show you how it's done.
Nah, she's not. I think. I'm 0 for 1 on gauging her dedication. I don't really know, but I'm willing to try.
Fast forward to the day of the presentation. Not gonna lie to you, I am so nervous. I think my soul hates presenting. Absolutely hate having everyone's eyes on me. Stage fright is here and it has been bodying me over and over again for years. Also, I haven't even opened the app to start the presentation. I haven't even clicked on the button. I've done 0 research, 0 preparation. Only negative energy towards this project. Hey look, stress and anxiety will do it to you. I was just the type of person that was gonna push off the project all the way until the very end. Literally. There was just so much leading up to it, I didn't even want to think about it. I take the entire class to do it. I am zooming through this thing. I get to the end of class and there's still 3 people that need to go. And I'm like, thank God. It was perfect. I was stressing so hard and I was nowhere near done with this thing. So it was nice to just get that off my chest and relax. Fast forward to the next day, I straight up haven't touched it since the last class. I need to be medicated. I'm zooming through trying to finish up. I'm literally stealing points from the people that are presenting and putting it into my own stuff. At the very end, you gotta cite your work, so I threw on like 5 different Pro South sites down. Surprisingly easy to find, by the way. And I just called it good. Mrs. J called me up, and not gonna lie, I was a little reluctant to stand up there. But to be honest, this was the easiest presentation I've given in high school, which should let you know that I just actively fold on normal presentations. That year, I also had a class for presenting, and I'm not gonna go into it because it's a whole story on its own, but you can imagine how that went. Anxiety through the roof. Shit was embarrassing. This presentation might be the worst thing I've ever concocted. The people in my class are already laughing because this is already a hilarious ass scene. And this absolute monster of a speech went like this. You know, the enslaved got food and clothing. Burlap sacks are honestly fashionable as hell. You know what was cool though? A free boat trip. We're in the Midwest, we don't see that, but that was dope. I'm sure anyone would love a small bag of cold beans and wheat grains for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm getting kind of hungry. I could go for that right now, actually. Listen to me. I know y'all hate your part-time jobs on the weekends, but imagine 18 to 20 hour shifts. Doesn't that sound amazing? I don't know why people don't do that today. If I could, Mrs. J, I'd love to take the entire class to go work until 2 a.m. Give me $5, I'll feed them good, I swear. Not gonna lie, the presentation was horribly written. I was just tapping through that as fast as I can, because I'm barely going on script. I don't even think this presentation met the minimum requirements. But hey, I think I distracted everybody enough. Did my stand-up set, had the whole room dying laughing. Even Mrs. J was cracking up, and that is exactly what I needed. I sit down completely drained by anxiety and the feeling of my ancestors abandoning me. I'm definitely not making it into the Wakandan afterlife, but at least I got it over with. Class ends and people are like, bro, that was crazy. I can't believe you did that. So funny.
That was the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed. I couldn't have done it better myself.
The weekend hits, we get our grades back on Monday, and like I said, plus some, 110%. Like, come on, dude, let's go. Highest grade in the class, probably the highest grade I've ever gotten. Slid back into C and rode that CD line to the end of school because I still can't focus. Like, that's still a major issue, dude. Moral of the story. Can I say that? Like, it's been some time. Can we say that?
Wait, hold on. I got it. Look, if I could do it different, not gonna lie, this is before me, like, actively diving deep into the culture and what it means to be me, basically. So I guess like doing this presentation in this format wasn't exactly like an issue like it is in today's world. You know what I mean? So at the very least, like, I'll give myself grace on that. I mean, even if you won't, that's fine. I'm just letting you know what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. But to be real, I think I just would have gotten good grades and avoided the issue entirely. But to me at the time, it just seemed way harder, so it was just like, no. But regardless, if you're like me and you have diagnosed or self-diagnosed ADD, ADHD, or IDGAF, I don't really have a solution for you. Like, I take like all natural supplements, like lion's mane, but you know, I don't think it works all the time. But if I were you, I would just focus up, graduate, and then just go do what you want to do with your life. Go explore, figure it out. And if you know what your interest is, don't put it off. Pursue it with everything that you have. You have to make it your identity that this is what you want to be and this is what you're going to be. Or else you're just gonna end up like me before I quit. And that's a long story for another day.
This isn't foreshadowing, by the way. This isn't gonna be the next vid, okay? I think.